The ocean in Windermere wasn't just a view, it was a force, a rhythm, a lullaby, and a warning. Some mornings, it was gentle, brushing the rocks with foam-tipped fingers, like a lover waking you gently. Other mornings, it screamed through the cliffs like a wounded god. Alina Rowan had learned to listen to it. She grew up in a small, weathered house just steps from the surf, where sand slipped in through the windows no matter how tightly they were sealed. Her father, a third-generation fisherman, kept a photo of the sea in their living room. Ironic, really, since it was visible from every window. Her mother ran the Sea Soul Cafe, famous for its chowder and barely functioning espresso machine. Alina had long hands from net mending and salt-dried hair she kept in a braid down her back. She was 21 and had only been outside Windermere twice. Once for a cousin's wedding, inland, and once to a university open house she never applied to. Not because she didn't want to, she just couldn't leave. Her brother Jesse was only 13 and dreamed of building boats. Her mother's knees ached on cold mornings. Her father's hearing was going. The village was quiet and needed tending, and Alina had always been the one to tend it. She never said she was stuck. She didn't feel stuck, just rooted. That was until the morning a boy with sketchbooks and 2 clean boots walked off the ferry and into her life. Callum Foster didn't look like he belonged in Windermere. He was too polished, too lean, with wind-tossed blonde hair and a leather satchel instead of a backpack. His jeans were cuffed, his camera vintage, and his hands were ink-stained rather than calloused. He stood at the edge of the pier, staring at the old lighthouse like it had spoken to him. Alina, hauling a crate of iced mackerel to the back of the cafe, stopped to watch him. Another tourist. They came every summer, trailing behind guidebooks and local legends. Most asked for directions to the cliffs or selfies with fishermen who didn't want to be photographed. Callum was different. He didn't ask for anything, just stood there, sketching quietly in a notebook. The second time she saw him, he was in the cafe, sitting at her favorite window booth. A black coffee sat cooling beside him as he traced the curve of the lighthouse with a soft pencil. "Bit romanticized," she muttered, setting down his toast and eggs. He looked up, confused. "The lighthouse? You're drawing it like it hasn't been crumbling since the 60s. He smiled. "Decay has character." She blinked. Not the response she expected. "And you are?" "Callum, student from the city, architecture." "Alina," she said reluctantly. "Local." His smile widened. Like the word local meant something more. Windermere was small. When someone lingered, they were noticed. Callum lingered. He showed up at the cafe daily, sat by the cliffs at dusk, helped her father fix a broken fishing crate one morning, despite clearly not knowing one knot from another. He didn't flirt, he didn't boast, he just listened, drew, and asked questions Alina hadn't been asked in years. "What's your favorite constellation? Why don't you leave? What scares you most?" She found herself answering before she thought to lie. "The silence," she whispered one evening. "When the tide is out and all you can hear is yourself, it makes you realize how loud your thoughts are." Callum just nodded. They started walking together, late at night, beneath stars brighter than any street lamp. Sometimes they talked, sometimes they didn't. He recited Rainer Maria Rilke and Neruda. She quoted ocean myths and sang old fishermen's lullabies. And then, in the hush of one salt-kissed night, he reached for her hand. She let him. The first letter arrived 2 weeks after Callum left. It was wrapped in the same sea-salty paper that marked his sketchbooks, lightly crumpled, but undeniably his. Alina found it folded neatly inside the small wooden mailbox near the cafe's back door, tucked between the day's delivery of fish and a stray grocery order. Her fingers trembled as she read the neat, familiar handwriting. "Alina, I can't help but smile as I write this. I wanted to leave Windermere with more than just photographs and sketches of the lighthouse. I wanted something real, something tethered. I guess that's why I'm writing this. because I can't stop thinking about how the cliffs, the pier, and even the sea felt still when you were beside me. I don't know when I'll be back, but I'll carry Windmere with me and I'll keep it close. You were right about the lighthouse, by the way. It's falling apart. But isn't there something beautiful about that? The way time takes things and makes them more instead of less? Write me. Yours, C. Alina read it 3 times before gently folding it back up. There was something raw in it, something she didn't understand, but felt nonetheless. Her heart beat a little faster as she stared out at the ocean through the cafe window. She hadn't expected this, not from him. Alina's life didn't stop when Callum left. The ties didn't change their rhythm, her father didn't stop losing hearing, and the cafe remained packed with regulars. But there was an undercurrent, a quiet, persistent pull, the kind of thing that happens when you think about someone enough that the air seems to hum when you breathe. She missed him, but she didn't admit it not aloud. The days grew longer, and Callum's letters came regularly. Sometimes once a week, sometimes every few days. Each one felt like a new thread weaving into the fabric of her life. She found herself writing back more and more until the pages filled with stories of Windmere's simple rhythms and the people who shaped it. The second letter she sent began like this: Callum, I have a new favorite constellation, Orion. My father used to tell me that the fisherman's lanterns were Orion's belt guiding us back home. He's got his own way of looking at the world, like me. Luna has taken to sleeping on your sketchbook. She keeps pushing it off the shelf like she's trying to tell me you left a piece of you behind. I miss the sound of your voice. You said you'd write me, but I find myself waiting, almost hoping for a letter. I guess I'll write you until I don't have anything else to say. Always. A. The more she wrote, the clearer it became. Alina wasn't just replying to Callum's letters. She was reaching for something. And somehow, she had become convinced that if she just kept writing, the distance between them would shrink. 2 months after the last letter arrived, the phone rang. It was late. The fog hung thick outside, and Alina was cleaning up the cafe. Her mother had gone to bed early, exhausted after another long shift. The voice on the other end was unmistakable. Alina? Her heart skipped a beat. Callum? There was a pause before he answered, the sound of traffic in the background. Yeah, it's me. Where are you? She couldn't keep the smile from creeping into her voice. I'm at the train station in London, about to leave for Paris. She let out a soft laugh. Paris? I don't know what I'm doing anymore, Alina. I thought I was supposed to be in the city. The big city, everyone talks about it like it's the answer to everything. But here I am, and I'm not sure why I'm doing it. Alina swallowed, her pulse quickening. You should go. It's what you wanted, right? I wanted more than that, he said, his voice thick. I don't know when, but it hit me the other day. What I want is you. Not a city, not a project. You. She didn't say anything right away. Her thoughts collided like crashing waves, unsure of what to do with the admission. You have to come back, he continued, his words pouring out like an ocean tide. I don't care if it's Windmere or somewhere else, just wherever you are. I want that. Her voice cracked when she answered. I miss you too. Callum returned to Windmere at the beginning of summer. The first time Alina saw him again was by the cliffs, the same place where they first met. He stood in the same spot, looking out at the horizon like it held the answer to everything. But this time, Alina walked up to him. He turned, and they stared at each other for what seemed like an eternity. The wind ruffled his hair, and the waves crashed below them, but nothing else existed except that moment. Alina's pulse raced, and she felt the pull, the familiar one that had been drawing her in since the first night they had shared a conversation. Without thinking, she reached out, her hand brushing against his. I thought you were lost, she said softly. I was, Callum replied, but I knew where I was meant to be. And then, with no more hesitation, they kissed under the lighthouse, the wind howling, the ocean bearing witness to it all. It was soft and slow, full of promises they hadn't said yet. That summer, things changed between them. Slowly but steadily, Alina began to feel something deeper than she could explain. The letters continued, but they felt different now. No longer filled with questions or uncertainty, but of plans and dreams they could share. Alina had no plans to leave Windmere, but she started to think there was a way to make it home for both of them. One evening, Callum pulled out the leather-bound journal he had started when he first arrived in Windmere. He had filled it with sketches, letters, and notes from their time apart, each page an intimate reflection of the bond they had built. "I want to ask you something," Callum said, holding the journal out to her. Alina took it, flipping through the pages, but stopped when she saw a page at the very end. The question was written there, simple but profound. "Marry me?" Alina looked up at him, her heart hammering. "Is this a joke? Does it feel like one?" Her eyes softened. "I didn't think you wanted to be here, with me. I wasn't sure until I knew what it meant to want you. And now I do. I don't want to waste any more time, Alina." She couldn't stop the tears that welled in her eyes. She stepped forward, resting her forehead against his. "Yes," she whispered. They didn't rush into anything. They didn't need to. They got married quietly on the beach at sunrise, with just a handful of family and close friends there to witness it. The lighthouse stood in the background, timeless, enduring. Alina knew then that it wasn't just the lighthouse that would keep them strong. It was the years they had spent finding each other in small letters, in tender moments. The town of Windmere, with all its rugged beauty and silent wisdom, had become their foundation. And no matter where the future took them, they knew they would always return to the shore.